This video is brought to you by Disney because dreams do come true. Hey brother! Guys, I still remember my very first trip to Disney World and I had no idea what to expect from the park or from that trip, but the one image I had in my mind that I kept looking forward to was standing in front of Cinderella Castle at the heart of Magic Kingdom. It is without a doubt the quintessential picture you have to take when you go to Disney World, and I can tell you from personal experience that we have spent a lot of time trying to find the perfect angle to capture the castle in. But the truth is, there really isn't a bad angle. The castle looks amazing from everywhere, and every time I walk in the park and turn that corner and see it for the first time, I still get a little bit emotional. But this is Disney World, and as such, there is always way more than meets the eye. And if you want to uncover all of the secrets of Cinderella Castle, it requires a much closer look. Fortunately for you guys though, we were recently invited to the park to get that closer look. And so today, we're going to run down all the secrets of Cinderella Castle. There really is nothing better than when you walk into Magic Kingdom and are greeted by the sight of Cinderella Castle. It's the iconic center of the park, and yet it's actually not the very first thing you see upon entering. In fact, you can't even see it from outside the park. And this is no accident. All of the landscaping and architecture have been carefully constructed to postpone the moment you see the castle until it is just right. But that sounds kind of crazy, right? I mean, how do you hide a giant castle? Well, as you might expect, it starts with trains. Have you ever noticed that anytime you fire up a Disney movie, before they pan out and reveal the giant castle, they start focusing in on something else behind the castle? Well, that something else is a train. This is a nod to Disney World, where, much like in the movies, first, you see the train. Walt Disney himself loved trains, and in fact actually had an 8th scale model train in his backyard called the Carolwood Pacific that you could actually ride. I mean, can you just imagine that conversation? Honey, I'm just gonna be out back building, it's gonna be a working railroad in the backyard. That cool? Whatever, honey, just make sure it doesn't go through the garden. That was an actual stipulation his wife had, and his solution was to build a tunnel under the garden. And fun fact, you can actually see an even smaller version of Walt's trains as part of an amazing miniature village in Epcot. But getting back on track, all of this is in place as a way to just postpone the moment until you see Cinderella Castle. First, you arrive through the train station, then you walk around the corner, and then, boom, there it is. This reveal is also supposed to be like watching a Disney movie. First you see the train, then the castle, then the opening credits. And indeed, as you walk down Main Street USA, if you keep your eyes on the windows above the shops, you can actually see some of the names of the designers for the park, effectively serving as the opening credits. But that brings us back to the castle itself and its breathtaking breezeway. Now you might be familiar with the Bibbidi Boppidi Boutique, where little boys and girls can get makeovers and become princes or princesses, whichever they want. Or maybe even the Royal Table restaurant located on the 2nd floor. But I bet most of you walk right past two of the coolest things in the entire park without ever noticing. Ben, would you care to explain?
We are here at the Breezeway underneath Cinderella Castle, and inside is something truly amazing. It is a 5-panel mosaic using over 1 million tiles telling the story of Cinderella.
The invitation arriving for the ball, the fairy godmother bibbidi boppidi booping her dress on, Cinderella fleeing before midnight, the prince searching for her, and finally, a happily ever after. The mosaic was designed by Imagineer Dorothy Redmond and assembled over the course of 22 months. It's easy to breeze past it, but I highly encourage you to stop and try and take it in, because as you stare at the over 1 million hand-cut pieces, more and more details will start to pop out to you. Like how the stepsisters, Drizella and Anastasia, are specifically colored green with envy and red with anger. And in the scene where the glass slipper fits Cinderella, the footman's face is that of Herb Ryman, and the gentleman behind him is John Hench, both of whom started their Disney careers as animators, but who are featured here because they are the ones who designed Cinderella Castle itself. Now the mosaic is truly beautiful, but if you can take your eyes away from it and turn around, you'll notice this unassuming door, which is hiding something even more spectacular. This is the entrance to the Cinderella Castle suite, an extremely exclusive room. The door we just came through remains locked at all times, but if you head up that elevator, you get to stay in one of the rarest rooms in the park. Yes, the Dream Suite. You have probably heard rumors about the existence of this room, but we are here to confirm that it is indeed very real, but also extremely exclusive. We were only allowed as far as the reception room, and even that was kind of a stretch. The only way up that elevator is to win a sweepstakes. Like, luck must be on your side. The story, on the other hand, of the rarest room in the park is full of myth and legend. Like that it was going to originally be the private suite of Walt Disney and his family inside the park. And yet, this is false. Sadly, Walt passed away 5 years before Disney World even opened, and the room wasn't even added to Cinderella Castle until 2007. Sadly, for most of us, we will probably never get to go inside the suite. But you can spot it from the outside if you know where to look, which is right here. From the backside of the castle, if you turn your eyes skyward, you can spot 6 windows which look out from the Dream Suite and have stained glass inlays. And much like the mosaic inside the Breezeway, they too tell the story of Cinderella. But of course they are meant for the people inside the Dream Suite, so from this vantage point, the story is actually in reverse. Tell you what though, that reverse storytelling certainly works up a sweat, which is totally fine because located just outside of the Breezeway is another secret of the castle, Cinderella Fountain.
After passing through the Breezeway, you can find the Cinderella Fountain, which, while kind of small, is packed with magic. There's a really cool thing the designer of the statue did where, from a child's perspective looking up, you can actually see the crown on Cinderella's head. It's really cool.
Now, of course, you might notice this anyway as an adult if you bend down to take a drink, which also makes it look a bit like you are bowing to Cinderella. But I love the idea that children will almost always see the crown on her head because they just have a different perspective on the world. You'll also notice the statue is of Cinderella before she goes to the ball, so if you notice the crown, it also serves as a bit of foreshadowing of her true potential if you're unfamiliar with the story. Speaking of perspective though, let's refocus back on the castle itself. Earlier we mentioned how you aren't supposed to be able to see the castle until after you've entered the park, but what's crazy is that even after you've entered the park, the castle is still able to pull off this vanishing act. It all comes down to creative park design and landscaping, and it happens so seamlessly you probably don't even notice it. But whenever you leave the central plaza and venture forth into Frontierland or Adventureland or Tomorrowland, the castle will be lost from sight, probably obscured behind some tree or other structure. It is very intentional and meant to represent you entering a new land. If you want to test it out, also keep your ears open for the music, which will very subtly change to match the new land that you're in. And there you go, guys. From the million-piece mural to the Dream Suite hiding within, those are the secrets of Cinderella Castle. And thanks again so much to Disney for sponsoring our trip to Disney World and this video so that we could bring all of these secrets and Easter eggs to you. Ben, my question for you and everyone else is, what is your favorite ride at Magic Kingdom? Let us know in the towel section down below. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. As always, please remember to leave a like if you haven't already and subscribe so you don't miss any future Disney action from us. If you want even more Disney World videos, you can check out this one where we test the top 6 myths of Disney World. And don't forget to subscribe to the Walt Disney World Best Day Ever YouTube channel or follow them at the Best Day Ever Instagram account for more behind the scenes action with us. But Ben, that's all I've got for you today, man. I will see you in another life, brother.